Just say something.
Alrighty. This phase will now be starting. Permission to speak is active. Speaking out of turn will result in a removal from phase. Welcome to phase 1 of Law Enforcement Academy. Yay, we're here. Booyah. I'm your host, Shay Beast. Joining me today will be your instructor in training, Chu. Throughout this training, you'll address me as staff instructor, and you'll address Shu as, I guess, instructor in training or instructor. Doesn't really matter. He's part-time, so. You'll be monitored at all times during this training. Any disruptions, or any or all disruptions, will result in a warning. Continued disruptions will result in a removal from this training. Hopefully that's understood because it's happened before. This phase of the Academy will cover law enforcement rules and regulations, warrant applications, and cuff procedures, with the additional some other stuff we've added over the time. You are encouraged to take notes. Yes, please take notes. It is... I see 14 people pass, and then the rest fail, and it's like, why didn't you take notes? It's simple stuff. Everything is highlighted, so yeah. Again, you are encouraged to take notes throughout the phase, as this information is important and should be remembered. By the end of this phase, you should have a clear understanding of these procedures and how to properly apply them. Is that understood? Hopefully that is. If it isn't, object now. Otherwise, I'll be moving on. No objections? Woohoo! We'll now be going into law enforcement rules and regulations. We'll be starting with probable cause. I'll now be explaining probable cause. A law enforcement officer must exercise authority only when you have probable cause. Examples of probable cause are as followed. Direct observation of unlawful activity. Credible reports. Information from witnesses. And evidence obtained under lawful investigation. Hopefully that is understood because you guys should know this, especially Coruscant Guard. Remember, when establishing probable cause, that the offense should be committed, or being committed, or is intimate. If none of those apply, it is not probable cause. Let that be clear. Let that be clear. Suspicion or baseless accusations will not be considered probable cause. Again, you need the being committed, has been committed, or is intimate. Real quick, during this phase, you will be recommended to go into the Academy information channel. It should be, I don't know, the second link up or something like that. It will list the Galactic Code of Republic Statutes. That is the document you will be using throughout your career here as a in the guard sector, essentially. Security sector. Words. Questions before we move on for this specific probable cause. Okay. Stop and search. For stop and search, law enforcement officer may temporarily stop. That should be a law enforcement officer. A law enforcement officer may temporarily stop an individual of vehicle only if you have reasonable suspicion that they have committed an offense. When stopping, the purpose is to confirm identity, investigate suspicious behavior, and ensure the safety of personnel. Again, confirm identity, investigate suspicious behavior, and to ensure the safety of personnel. Searches, on the other hand, you may only search what is generally needed, like to preserve evidence or detect contraband. Say you arrest or detain a person. If you've detained them for having death sticks, I would take that off them and put it in an evidence bag, you know? Next, detention and detainment. After the first investigation, back up. Detention and detainment after the first investigation requires probable cause or authorization from a superior officer. So, if you detain the person, right, and say they've been investigated or whatnot, and then they're released, right? If you wanted to detain them again, it would need another set of probable cause or an authorization by your superior officer, say, Lieutenant over here. Any questions? Go. Moving on. Warrantless searches and Warrantless searches and exceptions. You may conduct searches without a warrant. However, there are strict criteria that may follow a warrantless search. First one, consent. Keep in mind, the person being searched must consent voluntarily to do so. So, a person giving consent, that means them saying yes, the word yes. If it isn't yes, then it's not consent. So, a maybe is not consent. A is a MHM, is not consent. They need to specifically say yes. Yes, you may search me. Yes, you may search my property. Yes, you may search my vehicle. Vehicle is part of your property. So, yes. With limitations. Next, exigent circumstances. The immediate searching is required only to prevent harm, escape, or destruction of evidence. So, if there is an outstanding reason you need to search, you may use exigent circumstances. So, if you think the person's going to destroy the evidence or know they're going to destroy the evidence, but you don't know when, you may go get that evidence and secure it. Or if someone, moving on. Actually, no, I'm going to go back. Preventing harm. If you think someone is about to prevent harm to an individual or a large base of people, yes, you may search the property. Say you think there's going to be a bomb. Not think, but know there's going to be a bomb and you need to know where it is. Or you've gotten a warrant. Now, well, no, not in this case, it's warrantless. You may search for that bomb. Or suspicion of a bomb. Next, plain view. The evidence is visible immediately to the law enforcement officer where he or she is present. Say Lieutenant Shu over here is selling fucking death sticks to one of my instructors, or, you know, which has happened before, not the death sticks, but selling or giving away a baton to an instructor for absolutely no reason. Yes, that is plain view. I am seeing it. Yes, I can detain you and take away that weapon from both the instructor, and then Shu, you might get arrested for illegally giving out weapons, you know. Weapons he's not supposed to be giving out. Next, incident to arrest, limited searching of the person or surroundings after their arrest. If you think that, for example, say a person had weed and they threw it out of the vehicle so that the officer wouldn't see it, but you know, you can obviously smell it and you can see it in the person, and they get it, you know, arrested for it. You may search the surroundings, you may search the vehicle, you may search the person. That is instant to arrest. That is so you have all the evidence or more evidence pending to the charges of that person, right? Or the company, or, you know, the clone, fucking alien species, you know, that shit. Any questions? Or did I explain that perfectly clear? I need like a yes instructor. No instructor. Also keep your helmet off. Thank you. Let's go. I actually forgot which one. It's up to that. All right. We've just gone over use of force. Next is jurisdictional authority and temporary detention. Right?
I can decide if you want.
Huh?
I can do the slide if you want.
No, I'll do it. The other ones are longer, which is a pain in the ass, but whatever. It's a good puts across. But words. What you got? Also, use of force.
Probably.
We did not. All right. Sorry about that. I skipped ahead of myself. All right. Use of force. Since, yeah. Since we didn't go over that. That was my fault. All law enforcement personnel should only use reasonable force. Again, reasonable force when necessary. Such as effectuating an arrest or detention, protecting personnel from immediate harm. Say you have to shoot a fucker because they want to harm someone. Yes, that is preventing and protecting people from immediate harm. And to prevent destruction of evidence or the escape of a suspect. Cool. However, do note that excessive, punitive, or retaliative force is prohibited, and it will result in disciplinary action, or you will be put on a military tribunal. You don't want to go to military court. It fucking sucks. And I just went to one, so yeah. not fun. Don't ask about Cassie and Vordana over here getting fucking 5 months or 5 to 6 months in rehab for drinking, bro.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Sorry about that. Now, on to jurisdictional authority and temporary detention. Law enforcement officers can only arrest in their jurisdiction. Wait. Back up. I mean, same concept, but yeah. Law enforcement officers can only arrest where their jurisdiction is lawfully assigned or authorized. Like, for example, Coruscant Guard is only allowed to arrest / detain in authorized sectors. That has changed because it was previously just Coruscant Guard, but I mean, you guys are in all fucking sectors now. So, moving on. 5th Fleet on Venators. Senate Guard in the Senate Building, or outside the Senate Building, wherever the hell you want to say. And Command Guard is on the city. Obviously, they're not a thing anymore right now, so it would go back up to Coruscant Guard, right? Next, when you are operating outside your jurisdiction, you cannot conduct an arrest unless you have been authorized from a statute or a lawful order by the court. However, I say this very clearly. When suspicion exists that a person in question has committed an offense or is committing one or is about to commit one, you may detain that individual for investigational purposes only. However, such detention shall not last more than 15 minutes unless probable cause can be established. If you go over that threshold of 15 minutes of detention, it becomes illegal if you have them more than that time. So you either decide, okay, I'm gonna arrest them because I have probable cause, or keep them in detainment because I have probable cause, or you are to release them because you haven't found anything, right? You can't go off of baseless stuff. That's not how it works here. So, you're on the Trello, right?
Yeah.
You wanna do the next one? It's warrant applications.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
So, basically, for warrant applications, all of this can be found in the Galactic Republic Code of Statutes document in the Discord, if you haven't known about that. When a law enforcement personnel has probable cause but did not make an immediate arrest, you may fill out a warrant application form either requesting the search, arrest, or both of the suspect. So when you're filling out the warrant application, make sure you have the following: the name or identification of the suspect, the offense you believe they have committed, a detailed statement of fact including the probable cause, any evidence supporting the claim, and the identity, rank, and law enforcement. Wait, I read that wrong. And the identity, rank, and law enforcement officer making the warrant. And then during submission of the warrant application, a judicar or justicar.
Here.
Wait, what? How do you say it?
Judiciary. It should be judiciary, but whatever.
May either issue arrest warrant, issue a search warrant, or issue both search and arrest warrant, or deny the request entirely due to the lack of probable cause. You want to do arrest procedures?
Huh?
Is there any questions? Yeah. What's up? Yeah. After the Senate bond. I think you guys have to wait until
That doesn't even apply. You go back to probable cause. Like, if you have probable cause, you have reason to. No, I know what you're asking. It again, it just goes back to probable cause. If you have reason to believe that's about to happen, because that airspace should have been restricted anyway, right? When that airship dropped down, because yes, I was there because I was Camino guard slash Coruscant guard at the time. That airspace should have been restricted regardless. So for that airship to drop down, what was it? The airship that blew up? I thought it was.
no, they planted bombs inside. And then actually, I don't even remember that much of it.
I think it was the airship that dropped down and fucking blew it up. Whatever. Move on. The base concept is if you have probable cause, that the arrest procedure in that jurisdiction doesn't really matter. Because, again, where is it? Fuck now. The suspicion exists that the person in question has committed an offense, committing one, or is about to commit one. Yes, so you can detain. And when you are operating outside your jurisdiction, you cannot conduct an arrest unless you have been authorized, or unless you have authorization from a statute or a lawful order by a court. In this case, that would fall under a statute because you are protecting government grounds, right? It is on your planet. If that answers your question. If that's not what you meant entirely, tell me, because did that answer your question, or did I just go off the rails? Or kind of both? 50-50. Okay. Did I at least get you some type of understanding of what it meant? You know? Okay. Good. So you understand. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, so maintain peace and order. Yeah. Wait, what was your original question anyway? If I have to pull up chat logs, I will. Yeah, you. So, you ask, where exactly does that place our jurisdiction since the Senate building got blown up, right? Yeah. No, don't worry. So essentially, that would be wherever a senator is. If you're guarding a VIP or a senator, you have jurisdictional authority in that area, right? Because your job is to protect that senator. So in the case, say one of your Senate guards is on a rooftop with a sniper or something like that, scanning the area, right? And they spot something. You're gonna have two or three Senate guards go over there and investigate that, detain the person. That is jurisdictional authority, right? Because you're in that area, you're there to protect that senator and such. You don't want that senator dying, because that's on you. That will fuck you up real time. I've seen it happen. Last time was with one of the senators getting blown up by a landmine. It was interesting, but it didn't blow up the Senate guard, which is weird. All right. Armor difference is crazy. All right, I'm gonna do the first half of this, and then you can take over. Arrest procedure, right? So before making any arrests, you must have probable cause. Again, probable cause, such as observing unlawful activity, sworn statements, information from witnesses, or evidence that was obtained from lawful investigations, or an arrest warrant. Arrest or search warrant, depending on what's happening, because you can detain an individual during a search warrant. If you have reason to believe that they're gonna fucking flee. Detain the subject or suspect. After you've gotten probable cause, you may move to the next step, which is detaining the suspect. To do so, you will have to identify yourself as a law enforcement officer. Detained players can be in cuffs or without them. It is up to the discretion of the officer, or Senate guard, or red guard, depending on what the fuck is happening. I think red guard's just gonna kill the fucker anyway. So I don't know. Moved on. As we know, the minimum time for detainment is 15 minutes. If you go over, you either must release the suspect or arrest the suspect, and you may only arrest the people in your jurisdiction. For example, say lower actors or lower team is playing as the local law enforcement. The local law enforcement would have more jurisdiction than you, because they are the law enforcement for that planet, right? The area in that planet. So if you don't have their permission to arrest,